We're gonna get into some stretching. So the stretching is based on the other notion, the circulation of energy as well. Um, and your just like your blood circulates, just like your blood circulates, your your energy, the the energy. Hmm, all right. So just like you have a physical body, there is an energy equivalent that produces your physical body. Um, and just like the physical blood in your body has to circulate in order for you to be and circulate, healthily and circulate well in order for you to be healthy. The energy in your energy body has to also circulate and be able to move around in order for you to be healthy. So that being said, um, the key about combining the stretching and the breathing is that you really the breathing is the pulling of the energy in, and the stretching is making sure that the channels are open. The channels are open because if the channels are blocked, it doesn't matter how much energy you have coming behind it. It can only get through this little hole that you have right here. You want your channels open so that when you take in those deep breaths, all that energy can just come flooding down. And that's what the stretching is about. And another thing about the stretching is that you have to um, you have to attack your weak spots with the stretching. So if you have bad knees, if you have a bad lower back, that's not areas that you avoid. That's areas you go after while you're stretching and you're breathing. and the we'll get into the yoga and the combination of the stretching and the breathing in just a second. But I want to just talk about the stretching by itself for a second. And so when you're stretching, you you have to attack those areas first where you are the most stiff, because that means there is the least amount of circulation happening at that point. If you increase the blood circulation and you increase the energy circulation in the areas where you are the tightest, those areas will start to get better. Those areas will start to heal themselves. Those areas will you start to have less pain in those areas. You'll start to have less discomfort. You'll be able those areas will be um, more packed with energy. In other words, um, and that's what the stretching is for. Um, I know there's some more I want to say about that. I know there's some more I want to say about that. Okay, so while I'm thinking about that, I'm gonna show you a really good stretch if you do it, because once again we're gonna talk about the spinal cord, because of all the things that we stretch, the spinal cord is probably the most neglected, but it's yet the most important thing because it is the physical representation of okay, so it is the central nervous system, which is how the mind communicates with the body and how the body communicates with the mind. Um, but it is also just a very important area energetically anyway, because as you get into the chakras which deal with your energy body, like we talked about earlier, the energy body that gives way to the physical body. Um, all the Most of the chakras are lined up with the spine, and the kundalini energy is contained canals that run on each side of the spine. Um, so all of these are reasons on a physical and spiritual level that the spine is the most one of the most important things. Not even one of, like, probably the most important thing that you need to make sure is stretched out on all levels: physical and spiritual, emotional, mental, all of that. So with that said, I'm gonna demonstrate this real quick. So I'm gonna back this up. All right. So what you want to make sure you do is um, the lower back. You want to make sure what we're targeting here is the lower back especially, and the upper neck, which you'll see we'll get in a minute. But all you really want to do is you want to just bend over. Oh, and it'll start to feel so good. You start to bend over. Pause. And then what you want to do is you want to try to get the top of your head to actually be parallel with the ground, which means, so basically you want to try to point the top of your head towards straight to the ground. And that'll really help stretch out your back. And then so you want to do that for maybe 10 or 15 seconds. And then you want to put your hands on your lower back. You want to put your hands on your lower back to support yourself, and then bend backwards like that. And you, even though I haven't been doing it, you want to be breathing deep this whole time. You want to, because you're circulating the energy, and you want to make sure that you're breathing in deep so you can breathe in enough energy so you can funnel it into your body, and your body can do what it does. But right after you do this for a few seconds, and you come back forward and finish it off, and just do like this. And you can really you can try to pull your you can try to pull yourself like through your legs almost, and that'll really help stretch your spine out. And then almost immediately after that, what you want to do almost immediately after that is you want to do these things cross laterals, because you just worked out the bottom of your back, and these work out your hips and your spine, which is where you take your say your right or your left elbow and you go across the opposite knee, and then you could take the other elbow and you go across the opposite knee. And what that really helps to do is loosen up the hip area. So right after you do that stretch that we just did, then you just bust out a few of those cross laterals. Man, that feels good. That feels good. All right. So that if you do that stretch, as soon as you wake up in the morning, first thing you do is stretch out your spinal cord, take a few deep breaths. We're going to do the deep breaths here in a second. You do that for like 2 or 3 minutes in the morning. All you have to do is say you put on your favorite song and stretch for the duration of that song. What's that, 3 or 4 minutes? You will see so many significant health benefits just from stretching. The amount of pain that's going to go away, you're going to be amazed. The amount of energy you have is going to skyrocket. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you combine it with the diet stuff like we were talking about. It's just so beneficial for you. When you combine the stretching, the breathing, and we also talked about the water, lots of alkaline water if you can. But when you combine the stretching, the breathing, the water, and the diet, you become the version of yourself that you should be, because you don't have to deal with the foolishness anymore. You don't have to deal with pain in certain areas. You don't have to deal with discomfort or being limited. That's what we're really talking about. The body is limited by pain or dysfunction or lack of flexibility, and what this does is it removes the limits. It removes the limits so that the body can do what it was designed to do. Man, your body is capable of so much on all these different levels that you would really be very amazed, and will be amazed at what you unlock. Okay, so getting back into it, that stretch. So do that stretch in the morning when you first wake up. You will see very good health benefits. Do it about an hour before you go to bed. I used to tell people do it right when you're about to go to bed, but even for myself, that doesn't even work, because you're just tired when you're about to go to bed. You're already tired, and once you're already tired, it's already time your mind is off that. So you got to do it like an hour before you go to bed, and then that way you have the energy to still get a good stretch in. But as you saw, that stretch took literally less than 30 seconds. So you can find the time for that, because you take 30 seconds and you waste 30 seconds thinking about foolishness all the time. I do the same thing all the time. So we can find 30 seconds to stretch and breathe and bring immense health benefits to us. Okay, we can do that. All right, so let's talk about the breathing. Because we're still 25 minutes in and we haven't talked about the breathing yet. We haven't shown the breathing. Shallow versus deep breathing. All right, so we talked a little bit about it, but shallow breath just means you're basically just using your chest. You're not using all this. You're not using all parts of your torso to breathe, which is not how you're supposed to breathe. Shallow breath is not how you're supposed to breathe, but it's like how we breathe, like 99% of the time. So, the deep breath goes like this. First, you want to blow all the breath out of your body. You want to get your spinal cord straight if you can, and you want to breathe from the bottom of your abdomen. You want to breathe from the bottom of your abdomen down here. You want to pull it so it's like, and then your stomach will get, you pull it from your stomach up through your rib cage, up through your diaphragm, into your chest, into your neck, into your face, all in one motion. So it's like, and that is that is the difference between a deep breath and a shallow breath. And so the long story short is, if I could, would, or even had the ability to sum this video up in like less than a minute, what I would say is, the do way more deep breaths. Do as many deep breaths as you can throughout the day. There's no way you're gonna do every single breath throughout the day is gonna be a deep breath. Sometimes you just go on autopilot. Sometimes your breathing just goes on autopilot and you're doing something. But every time you can remember, just say to yourself, okay, I'm going to take this 15 seconds and I'm going to take 3 deep, proper breaths. That's it. That's it. That didn't even take 20 seconds. And I'll tell the same story I told in the other video, which is, it is a proven fact that you will never take 3 deep breaths and then feel worse than you did before the deep breaths. It will never happen. It will never, ever, ever happen. You always feel better after a deep breath. That's more scientific and practical proof of how good breathing is for you. You always feel better after you take a deeper one. Deeper breaths always feel better than shallow breaths. I could go on for days on this stuff. It's all true. It's all true. So that was a deep breath. That's the difference between shallow breath and deep breath. And the whole point is, anytime you can remember, take a deep breath. Anytime you can remember, take 2 or 3 deep breaths in a row. You saw it took 15, 20 seconds. Let me see. Conscious breathing with the intent to self-heal. Yikes. I don't know if we can go into that right now, but we'll just say this. That might be a whole video by itself. But the summary of that is, when you are doing deep breathing and you are in a meditative state, or you're even doing your yoga, you can look up qigong or qigong. You can look up Reiki. I'll probably put the links with the video. But these are all methods of, those are the Eastern methods. When I say Eastern, I mean Asian methods of controlling the energy force of the body in such a way that, in whatever way you want to, you're the Lord and Master of all that. So whatever you want to do with that energy, you can do with it. And one of the things you can do with it is heal. One of the things you can do with it, you can just energize it. You can de-energize it. You can work on the energy aspect of it, which goes into dealing with not the physical aspect of it, but the energetic counterpart. Because everything in the physical realm has a correspondence in the spiritual realm. And I guess you could say the energy body kind of exists in the spiritual realm. Not really. Part of it does. Oh, okay. So you can use the energy. See, that's what the list is for. See, got my good old list right here. That's what the list is for. We organized this time, baby. Still at 30 minutes though, but we good. We good. We dropping some information. The point of that is that you can consciously direct your breathing to certain parts of your body, and with a certain intent to heal yourself, and you will do that. You will do just that. You will accelerate, I should say. You will accelerate the healing process, because healing is just that. It is just a process. You cut your finger. As soon as you cut your finger, your body starts the process of healing your finger. You don't have to tell it to do it. You don't have to instruct it to do it. It does it on its own. It's like that with every single dysfunction in your body. It's like that with every single dysfunction in your body. Your body automatically has already started dealing with it. It's just dealing with so much because we take in so many toxins from so many different sources, including the food, water, and air, and even getting into negative thoughts and emotions, which make all of that worse, which exacerbate that whole situation.